everybody, and welcome back to Beyond the Trailer Park. Kind of slim pickings this week. Tracy and Morgan are both under the weather tonight, so we hope they're feeling better way soon, because that sucks. I'm not sure what happened to Beth. Either her internet isn't working, or the kitten ran her so ragged that she fell asleep again. I'm not sure. So hopefully she will be popping in soon. There are some other people that I invited that if they get freed up may pop in as well. So it's kind of a surprise. It's the surprised co-host show. So there you go. But joining us all the way from the wilds of New Hampshire, we do have our actual guest, Vermont. Tracy's New Hampshire. Fuck. You know what? Last week, I did the same thing to Tracy. I said she was in Vermont. She's like, New Hampshire. I was like, shit, I was just talking to Ranger right before this. Anyway, Atheist Ranger, welcome to the show.
Hey, Heretic Woman, how's it going?
It's going not too badly. Especially, I haven't done a solo gig in a while, so,
Well, I'm honored.
Yeah,
I usually don't show my face on camera this much.
You don't, I know. So we're pleased that you chose to do so.
Well, that's because my camera gets kind of iffy every time I'm like this for too long. That's all.
Oh well. Well, mine looks blurry to me today as it is, and I don't know why. At least in the Hangout. Hangouts have been fucked up lately because I don't know. It doesn't like XSplit right now for some reason. But anyway. So, yeah, out in the wilds of Vermont, my bad. Because we were just fucking talking about how I visited Vermont once, too. Or at least that I stopped in Vermont.
Yes, but to anyone out there who doesn't know, I am originally from Delaware. The first state. Specifically Dover, Delaware.
I've been through there, too. I think I might have actually... Yes, I did. I stayed there one night once.
Well, then you definitely have my sympathies.
It's an awfully skinny little state, though.
Yeah, it's also a fucking rude-ass state.
Oh, yeah?
At least in my experience. I can't speak for yours.
I don't recall interacting with people other than hotel staff, so...
Gotcha.
Not really much of a sample. So, in case people don't know, you have a YouTube channel of your own, and you pop up on other people's YouTube channels fairly regularly. So, before we get into all of that, I kind of like to usually get a bit of background on people. So, were you religious at one point? And if so, what flavor were you to start with?
No, I was never a religious. I was never a theist. But as I tell people all the time, I am a former deist. I did used to defend theistic evolution, at least back then when I was good at science. I also used to believe in objective morality. I don't anymore. I wholeheartedly believe in that morality is not only subjective, but I also subscribe to moral relativism. Mm-hmm. And believe it or not, I've been an anti-theist longer than I've been an atheist. I would say I subscribed to anti-theism when I was like 13, and
wow.
I didn't become an atheist till like I was 16, 17.
Man, that's too bad that Tracy couldn't be here, because she's our resident raised as an atheist person, so she could probably relate to that to some degree as well, of not having that theistic mindset to the same. Wow. So, and in all honesty, from the deist perspective is, in my estimation, the least offensive to my sensibilities, like it's the most defensible, like, because as people will often point out, because I am what they call a Gnostic atheist, I state emphatically that I know there's no God, and people, well, you don't know that there isn't something out there that could be. I'm like, yeah, but you
That's
know,
a number of things. Sorry.
and if I can't perceive it, then it may as well not exist. But the idea that there could be something, that's at least somewhat more defensible than the whole, well, of course it's my God in this text that says blah blah blah. So, I wouldn't feel too bad about that for sure, because that's the least ridiculous out of all of them.
Exactly, and I was never ashamed of it because, as you and I know, most of the American founding fathers were deists. They were not religious, despite what Fox News may want you to think.
Or fucking David Barton.
Or Tucker Carlson, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think you eventually get to the point where, because trust me, I know plenty of former deists on Facebook, and they always make the same point that I always make, that eventually that God pretty much becomes useless to you.
Well, yeah. If that's always was my thought, because if people who say, oh, well, they maybe wouldn't even know what a deist was per se, but well, I believe in a higher power that, started everything going, and they don't do anything now. I'm like, okay, so why does that even factor into your existence then? Like, because some of those people would still pray over food and shit like that. And I'm like, okay, well, if you don't think your God or the thing that you call God does anything, like they just, I'm going to start this evolution thing going and fuck off now. Why would you even care? Like, why would that matter? I never quite understood that.
Yeah, but well, I mean, to me, I didn't use the words higher power. Like I said, I did actually believe in God. Just I didn't think I didn't think he gave a shit about the human race. Quite obviously,
right?
Even if one does exist,
right?
And I still, to some extent, have that mindset. I mean, I think if there is a God, he very clearly he, she, or it does not care about the human race at all.
Exactly. So what was did you believe that because you were raised to believe that there was something out there, or was that just what made sense at the time?
No, I mean, I did grow up around a lot of religious people. Well, actually, believe it or not, I'll just say the woman I call mother, she was raised Catholic, but she didn't subscribe to the religion, and my father is an atheist. But he didn't like push that on me. But I did grow up around a lot of religious people. There was like again in Dover, Delaware, there was like a church every like 3 fucking miles.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so
although that's not as bad as Georgia.
Yeah, the only time you'll see me in the South is if I'm visiting family. Trust me.
I have a lot of friends in the South, and I've gone to visit Miss Ashley and Bobby C, who host No Religion Required podcast. I've visited them on a number of occasions, and they took me by, because they had moved from they used to rent a house, and they had moved to an apartment building, and they said, oh, let us show you our old neighborhood. So they drove me by. It's like, okay, there's the house we used to live in. Start counting churches. We drove 2 blocks and we counted 7 churches.
God damn.
Yeah. Yeah.
But to answer your question, hello.
Oh, Bridget.
Hey.
Hello. Hey, Miss Bridget. Thank you for popping in. You must have seen my bat signal.
I did. I don't have any makeup on or anything like that, so I hope the avatar is okay.
That's fine. Ranger, please meet my co-host from another show, Bridget Fitch. This is the Ranger. She and I panel on Holy Crap, the vlogcast.
Gotcha. Yeah. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
We were just talking about religiosity in Delaware and the growing up in Delaware.
Yeah, to answer your question here, woman, I guess I would say it made sense to me at the time, which, by the way, religiosity in Delaware, I think, is like 60% Baptist. So you can imagine that fucking nightmare.
Oh, ew.
Yeah.
It could be worse though. I
Yeah.
live in Indiana, and most of it down here is evangelical, which is worse.
I mean, we did get the occasional Jehovah's Witnesses, but then my father.
Those guys crop up everywhere.
Oh, I kid you not. For a while there, I would live like behind the high school that I went to, so it was convenient. I could just walk to school.
Yep.
And let's just say they stopped coming to our house when my dad answered the door in his underwear.
Nice.
Yep. Oh, thank you, Dad. Did it in the first place.
I was acquainted with somebody years ago who claimed, I don't know if they actually did this, but they claimed it was guy said he answered the door. He saw them coming because he lived in a townhouse block and he saw them like going from door to door. So he went stripped naked and put gay porn on the television like super loud and then answered the door.
Oh, but just by the way, my father did not wear boxers. He wore tidy whities. So imagine that.
Oh, yeah, there you
Even
go.
better.
Awesome. So you guys got blacklisted pretty quickly after that, I'd imagine.
Oh no, that was the plan.
Yep.
I even told my father, I said, you know what, next time you see them coming, just enter the door in your underwear. Trust me, they'll make them stop coming.
Awesome. I've get into discussions with them, and I had the last time any came here, they were dropping off flyers trying to entice people to go to some Easter thing, and they weren't actually there to proselytize at you necessarily, but to drop off all these flyers. But I happened to see them, and I went out and I started talking to the guy, and he actually was like, I'm kind of interested in this discussion, but I have to leave. I'm like, okay. Well, he never came back, but so did you have much grief growing up in Baptist land, or were you left pretty much alone?
No, I was left pretty much alone because in my personal life, I'm mostly a loner. I didn't have that much grief. Of course, I did get the occasional funny look from classmates. That's pretty much about it.
Right. Yeah, because is Delaware the kind of state where they say, oh, and what church do you go to when you meet somebody new?
Believe it or not, no. But I mean, maybe in certain parts of the state. But I spent most of my time in mostly Kent County. And
Do you still live there?
He moved.
No, they live there. Just that, let's just say, it was the least religious county in the state, pretty much.
Well, that's all right.
Yeah. Of course, I did get crap from one classmate because I believed in. She was a fundy Christian. About maybe I think she was a freshman. Sure enough, she gave me crap for accepting evolution, but other than that, nothing.
Oh, well. Yeah, and I find that so odd because, like, I was a diehard Christian as a teenager, but maybe it's because I quit taking science the minute I was allowed to quit taking science, but evolution never came up. Like, it just never, ever came up. Even when I was, like, super religious, we never talked about evolution. It wasn't like, oh, if anybody tries to teach you evolution, you have to tell them it was God. Like, no, that just never, ever, ever came up. I had been an atheist for 17 years before I ever discussed evolution with anyone. And I had to go and learn about it because I didn't know shit. So that always
one more incident that did happen. My ex-fiance's mother did not approve of her dating an atheist, so that kind of created some friction.
Ooh, I bet. I can imagine.
Yeah. I mean, that's not what broke us up. What broke us up is that she fucking cheated on me. But
that'll usually do
it. That's story for another time.
Yeah.
Maybe Jerry Springer, but still.
Yeah, will she fight somebody? Because Jerry's pretty big into that. I used to like Jerry Springer when he was actually a talk show like 20 years ago, but every time I get flipped by it now, I'm just like, that's all you do. Like every fucking show is you come up with some whack situation and then you just get people to try and beat the shit out of each other on your stage. I don't get it, but
I have to admit I did like some of his pay-per-view shows there for a second.
oh, I didn't even know he had pay-per-view. Fuck.
No, I mean, way back in the day, not anymore.
Okay. Was that when they didn't blur the people flashing their boobs in the audience?
Yeah, pretty much. So you can imagine what that meant to a 12-year-old.
Of course. It's like, I can see boobs on TV. Awesome. You know, in fact, in our cable, now I haven't had cable in years now, but we had the it was called Tele Latino channel, which seemed odd title because it was only partly Spanish programming, but it was also Italian programming and whatever. But on weekends after 11, they actually played softcore porn on like regular, you know, cable. So you know, if you're like 15-year-old, you're like flip, like, whoa, what's going on there? Although for me, it wasn't all that exciting because they showed lots of TNA, but no dicks. So it was a little different for me. I was like, well, you could have shown a perfectly good penis there. What's wrong with you people? But anyway. So what made you you said you'd pretty much always been anti-theist. What made you sort of get into activism?
Well, 13 years old, there wasn't much activism to do, but I just, not gonna lie, I guess all the scandals that the Catholic Church went through, and quite frankly, as a, at the time, closeted bisexual, I saw how Christians treated gay people in freaking my school, let alone schools all over the country. And that's pretty much it. I just got fucking sick of religion because I'm sorry, it does more harm than good. And that's not all religious people. Not that I need to have to fucking say that because I'm tired of saying that. This is not all religious people. But yeah, religion does more harm than good. Always.
Absolutely. I agree. I used to have that sort of, you know, oh, everybody do their own thing attitude. And, you know, and it was easier for me because up here, nobody gives a shit, right? Like nobody's going to pick on you for being an atheist usually. So I didn't think I really had to care. And I was like, well, you know, if you want to be a Christian, that's fine. If people want to be Muslim, that's fine, and blah, blah. But I was saying in, I forgot whether it was Packard's show or Steve's show last week. Yeah, I got watching CNN because we don't get faux news without paying extra. I was watching CNN, and that's what got me pissed off enough to be like, wait a minute, I need to go fucking yell at some Christians. And hey, it's Tucker.
Hey, Tucker.
Howdy. Thanks
I'm sorry. You said Tucker. I thought you were talking about Tucker Carlson there for a second.
Oh, God.
No.
Okay, different guy. Okay, good.
No, this is the cool Tucker.
Okay.
Yeah, he volunteered to pinch hit for me too there. Because I don't know, either Beth has got no internet right now or she fell asleep because there's no sign of her whatsoever. So that's okay. We can manage. Yeah. So did you just go straight to doing a YouTube channel? Oh, Tucker, have you met Ranger before?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
Hi,
Tucker, Ranger Tucker.
Oh.
I'm surprised I don't see a fuzz nuts on you.
Oh, by the way, in case you're curious, this, by the way, is my avatar.
Yes. The actual, he's that kind of ranger.
That kind of ranger.
Of the power variety.
And before you ask, yes, I'm a very big geek.
For those of you listening later on Spreaker, I actually have that as the thumbnail for the show on Spreaker. So just go look at the Spreaker thumbnail, and that's Ranger's avatar. I think that's the Green Ranger, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I get that all the time. Oh, you know that guy's a Christian? Yes, I know. It's still the outfit itself is still cool. I don't care.
And some guy dressed as the Punisher tried to kill the Green Ranger at one of the Comic Cons not too long ago. I think it was the Green Ranger, one of the Power Rangers.
Oh, geez. That's not. We don't recommend that, people. So, like, no intra superhero murder. That's not cool. So, that's what I was saying. So, did you go straight to doing YouTube, or did you do other stuff before that, or?
No, I mean, I did, for a while there, I participated in a lot of, atheist groups on Facebook, but most of them are, back then they're gone now. But, I believe that I originally started my channel just to, do comments on, stupid people. But then I realized, how fun it was doing content. You know what? I'm going to give this a try, and the rest is pretty much history. And I do know that I think I have more live streams on my channel than actual videos, which, I apologize for, but I'm not exactly a good video person.
People don't realize just how much editing is involved. Like, I used to do a couple of segments on this show. One I used to do one on logical fallacies, and the other one was taking apart stuff I got from this stupid email list I'm on called Creation Moments. And I keep meaning to keep doing them, but there's so much work involved, and I'm trying to learn better video editing. And my dear friend Kate from Unbuckling the Bible Belt podcast, she and I have been trying to get together because she does know how to do video editing. And fucking Murphy seems to fuck us over every time we're like, yeah, we're gonna get in a hangout, we're gonna do video editing, and yeah, some shit always fucks up and it doesn't happen. So, well,
here's the thing, I don't know how to do any of that. In fact, I use the Google Plus live stream for my videos.
Right.
So.
That's okay. Hey, whatever works, man. Like, this is what I'm using, Hangouts for the show here. When I did do segments, I would pre-record them and play them through the show, but it's a lot of work doing that. And what I'm doing is really simple. Like, I'm just recording myself giving rebutting what was said with slides. Like, I'm not even including any live action or animation or anything like that. It's just me talking, a recording of the stupid shit talking, and slides. And yeah, it's a lot of work. So
yeah, I do the same thing. And depending on how long the video is, I mean, most of the time I don't have to write a script, but sometimes with long videos, I'll say maybe anything over 5 minutes, I use that to write down my thoughts.
Yep. I found it's smoother to record if I write it out, because I used to try and wing it, and then I'd be like, oh fuck, I forgot that point I wanted to make, or
same here.
Yeah. So I found, after doing a few of them, that I prefer to write it all out, or at the very, very least, I'll do like point form. For the most part, I'll write it all out ahead of time, because I was going to say that really cool line I thought of, and then I forgot it. Shit. So it's less editing for me if I do it that way. But your hangouts are fun. You certainly get an eclectic crew of folks over there.
Yeah, I do like variety.
That's for sure. And that's cool though, because I've been on a few of them now, and I always meet people that I had never heard of before, and some of them have very unique perspectives on things. So, like the agnostic fellow.
Yeah.
I actually ended up talking to him for like 2 hours after everybody buggered off that time.
Oh, Stiesel, yeah.
I enjoyed.
I didn't mind that he showed up. Just that I'm sorry. To me, he seemed drunk.
I don't know. I didn't find that, but then I was talking to him like I don't know how long he'd been there before that because I showed up late that night. So
Yeah.
oh shit.
Yeah, I think recently, and please don't ask me why, but I've been going after this particular pro-lifer by the name of Antonio Fletcher.
Oh, that sounds like a good target.
Yeah, well, I mean, the last video I did about him was, I think, maybe like 3 weeks ago.
Right.
And here's the strange thing, though. I was responding to a video that he made about someone else. Someone else he made a video about, they made a video response to that video before I did. And in the comment section, he told this woman, I'm not going to make an hour-long response video to you. So, you can come to my hangouts. And then when I make a response video, he spends a little over an hour with my video. I'm like, wait a minute. I thought you said you didn't want to spend an hour doing a response video. Seems a little weird and sexist at the same time.
I was going to say, it's like the woman's not worth a whole hour, but a man says something. I better spend extra time on that. Dickwad.
The first point. Go ahead.
You may have to show me this because I may have to poke the bear.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, sure. Let me look at the video right now. But I kid you not, the first point he made in the response video to me, that was a good looking cat. Was
That's
that
Professor Fuzznuts?
Good to know. Apparently, according to him, I need to find what a person is. Yeah.
The fuck? Oh man.
Yeah, I believe I wrote in his comment section that, dude, I'm in like the Matt Dillahunty camp because personhood, for the most part,
irrelevant.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you. Yeah.
I'm like, okay, no one has the right to live at someone else's expense. You're granting that fetus special rights.
Yep.
And I think what pissed me off more is that he recently did a video about he was like at a Special Olympics event, and he was pretty much going out to pro-choicers. I'm like, dude, really? You're gonna sit there and exploit a fucking event to further your agenda?
That's pretty nasty.
Yeah, and as a 26-year-old mildly autistic man, that was rather insulting.
Uh-huh. Wow. But those fuckers will exploit anyone and anything they can to try and make their point. I've found, at least.
Yeah.
I started. That's how I actually started my foray into online atheism in 2006. Actually, there was a Yahoo group called Real Abortion Debate. It's actually still there, still being used by people, I guess, who don't know that there are better places to debate things, but whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, the guy who runs that, he's like a fundamental. See, back then I didn't know enough about all the various sects to understand which flavor he is, but he's a fundamental evangelical something or other. But that's where I got my feet wet in online debate. So I've been at the abortion game for over a decade now, and there's very little I haven't heard before. But they don't care about anyone else but this whole, we have to control, who women sleep with, basically. That's all they really give a shit about. Even the women that are in that, they say it's about life, which is all a bunch of bullshit, because a good chunk of them are pro death penalty and don't care to educate people about how not to get pregnant. They only care about getting them pregnant so they can force them to have a kid. At least that's how I see it.
Oh yeah, that's the same point I brought up in, I think, either the video response I made or another video response I made to him. But that's Antonio's video that I responded to. It's about a month old.
Awesome.
Yeah, and like when you're dealing with the death penalty in the U.S., at least 4% of the people on death row are innocent. And, you know, they'll say, oh, well, we got to save all these babies, blah, 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 because they're, you know, they're innocent. But, you know, the idea that, oh, well, maybe we should stop the death penalty because 4% of the people we're killing or planning to kill are innocent never occurs to them.
No, they always go, oh, well, you know, some ridiculous figure like, you know, 50,000 babies killed every day, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, and how many, and if you imagine if the appeals process wasn't in place, especially in places like Texas, how many people would those fuckers execute every day if they could? You know, like, and they don't care at all. And I think half of the reason they don't care is because a disproportionate amount of those people are Black and Hispanic. And, you know, fuck those guys. Like, we don't care. You know, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I actually, when I was in high school, I actually used to be a supporter of the death penalty. But then when I finally figured out, hey, this is not deterring crime, and as Tucker just said that 4% of the inmates in there are completely innocent. I'm like, no, we need to get rid of this.
Exactly. Like, yeah. I would consider myself a supporter of the principle of capital punishment, but absolutely not in any system that's out there right now would I ever support that, because it's just, 4% is way too fucking high. One person killed who is innocent is way too fucking high. So there's just a long way to go before we come up with a justice system that is, I would say, accurate enough to warrant a death penalty.
Yeah, I mean, you read stories all the time about men accused of rape. They spend the next 20 years in jail, and it turns out they were fucking innocent.
I know. And honestly, and I might catch some grief for this, but I really don't give a fuck. Any woman or person, for that matter, who accuses another person of rape, like malicious, and I'm not talking, they honestly thought it was that guy and it turns out they were mistaken or anything like that. I'm talking about some person who deliberately says so-and-so raped me just to get, to get even with them or some shit like that. That person should be punished with whatever the penalty for that rape would have been. I would advocate that.
Yeah, I don't usually argue with feminists or SJWs usually. I come across them occasionally. But I'm just so tired of this BS about how drunken sex is rape. No, it's not. Shut up.
Yeah. I mean, I've had sex drunk before. I've had sex drunk and stoned before. And I certainly, now if somebody's unconscious, to me, that's a whole different ball game.
Oh yeah, clearly.
Because if you look at it this way, you say, well, somebody who's drunk cannot consent to sex. Okay, then why is it that somebody who's drunk knows what's right and wrong and can be convicted of murder then?
Exactly. Or get convicted of DUIs.
Well, DUI is a bit different because they're actually physically doing, like, they're a danger. They need to be taken off the street.
Yeah.
That to me is a little bit different. And you can't really predict if somebody's going to murder somebody necessarily, but let's say, an assault, those people, they never get off. If they said, well, I hit that guy over the head with a baseball bat because I was drunk and, you know, he really made me mad and I couldn't control my anger because I was drunk. Nobody gets off for that.
Yeah.
It's always, well, you shouldn't have drank then because you should have known that you can't control yourself if you're drunk and you're going to jail. So, you know, if you don't get off for that, I don't know. It's a tough one, but I mean, death penalty, yeah, there's no way that's feasible in this day and age at all. And the worst thing, I don't know if our system is quite so bad, but I watch a lot of true crime, which is 99.99% American. What I've found is if there is evidence that comes to light that says, hey, there's something a little suspect about this conviction, your justice system is just like, you know, no, we don't want to know. We don't want to re-examine anything. You know, we couldn't possibly ever be wrong. Like that just boggles my mind.
Yeah, and it's like the people where they actually do manage to get, you know, it proved in court that they were wrongly convicted. Even then, their conviction is not automatically expunged from their record. They have to go back to court and sue to have their record clear.
Which
like,
is bullshit.
Yeah.
That's bullshit. The minute somebody is released from jail where they're saying, we fucked up, you didn't do what you were convicted of doing, you know, then that should be a no-brainer. Like, your record is clear, you never did anything, and no, you know, we will make sure that no one ever can, you know, do a background check and not come up, you know?
Yeah, and here's the check for $2 million to cover your pain and suffering for being locked up.
Right, like they should not even have to sue for that. Like, it should actually be written in law somewhere that, you know, for every year someone is incarcerated unjustly, they get X amount of dollars, and that just automatic. Like, oh, you're being released for improper prosecution or you've been exonerated. Let's see, you spent this amount in time and blah blah blah. Oh, here's your check. You know, that should just be it. And you know, it would save so much time and money in the civil courts that these people don't have to go and fight to be compensated for being fucked over. Like, why is that a bad thing? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Hey, at least you don't have Jeff Sessions as the head of the Justice Department.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I swear, like, every person of power right now is the antithesis of whatever they are in charge of.
Yeah. Well, that was the plan all along.
I believe it.
They put them in there so they'll destroy what the various agencies.
I believe it. Now, what the fuck are they going to do when there's nothing left is what I don't understand.
They don't care. Their whole vision and dream is to be able to dance among the ashes. They have thought nothing beyond that point. Yeah. That, you know, I mean, we're ceding leadership in the world in all these areas to other nations, for good or for worse. I mean, obviously, I think if Canada became the world's policeman, things would be a lot better off. But, you know, handing technological innovation over to the Chinese may not be such a good idea, but that's what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what could possibly go wrong with giving weapons to Saudi Arabia? What could possibly go wrong there?
Yeah, you know what? We're guilty of that shit too. Although I have to say that was the Harper government, but Trudeau didn't nix the deal. We made a deal to provide armored vehicles to the Saudis. I don't remember the volumes or anything, but that was the deal. And when Trudeau came into power, instead of saying, well, we don't believe in providing weapons to terroristic regimes, so fuck you, he honored the deal and it's still going forward. And so I have a problem with that. Oh,
Yeah.
we're guilty too. Like, what is it about those fuckers that everybody's kissing? And it can't just be the oil. I don't, because,
Okay, yes.
but we've got lots of oil. You guys have got lots of oil.
Yeah, but we get them from Saudi last time I checked.
No, we have our own oil reserves.
No, I'm talking about America, sorry.
No, actually, most oil used in the U.S. comes from either Canada and their tar sands or Venezuela.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was mistaken. I apologize.
And you guys have a decent supply in the Gulf too, as far as I know. Like, I don't understand why everybody is kissing those fuckers' asses. I really, really don't.
Well, Americans are getting fed up with it. I mean,
so
quite honestly.
I really hope so. I wish we would get fed up. But see, this is why one of the reasons why I didn't vote for Trudeau, because he's soft on Islam. Like, way too fucking soft on Islam. Like, I agree with the refugees. I'm wholeheartedly like, those poor people deserve somewhere to live where they're not going to get, blown up every 5 minutes. I'm totally okay with that. But, kissing up to Saudi's ass, and I know when he was campaigning, he spent a lot of time going to mosques, and I could understand that if he was like going to churches and synagogues and, Hindu temples and mosques too, but he was only going to mosques. So that kind of raised my eyebrow a little bit. But, speaking
of mosques. Oh,
yes. No, I'm good.
I was going to say, I don't know if you heard, speaking
yes.
of mosques, there was that terror, I believe it was a terrorist attack in London.
Yes.
I've been keeping up to date, so I didn't know if it was qualified as a terrorist attack or not.
I believe so, although this time around it was I'm assuming white. I didn't know. I didn't look yet for sure, but they were a British nationalist type who apparently wanted to kill Muslims this time around.
What the fuck is going on with London, man?
Well, we had that a few months ago. We had a white Christian nationalist fucktard go and shoot up a mosque in Quebec.
Yeah, I heard about that.
A few months ago. And yeah, so it's kind of the flip side of the coin, because we've had two terrorist attacks by Islamists for sure. We had one where somebody ran over a couple of soldiers and killed one of them. And then there was the big one where it was an attack directly on Parliament Hill. He killed one soldier that was guarding the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. And he actually stormed the Parliament building and was taken out by our Rambo guy, which was pretty fucking awesome. This guy, I can't remember his exact title. Now, he was, retired military. He'd been a cop for a number of years. Like, he had a big resume. But his job in there, he might have been head of security, possibly, but his main job was to escort like the giant ass ceremonial scepter in when Parliament opened every day. And he had like the big feathered hat thing and, ceremonial uniform and all that shit. And he and they don't even carry guns in Parliament. So this fucker's in our Parliament shooting up the place. This guy, cool as a cucumber, goes to his office, gets his sidearm from wherever he has it in his office, comes back and takes out the fucker, still wearing his ceremonial outfit.
Oh, speaking of the Canadian Constitution,
yes.
I believe I mentioned this YouTube channel to you before by the name of Rebel Media.
Yes. Oh, fuck.
Yes, and I'm unfamiliar with Canadian Constitution, so please correct me if this douchebag is wrong. But does the Canadian Constitution have separation of church and state?
No, it does not.
Okay. Yeah. Wasn't sure because he was just sitting there running his mouth about the Canadian Constitution.
Oh, what was he saying?
Pretty much, supposedly, yeah, talking about that as there's no separation of church and state, and that some Christian school was forced to take down "quote unquote" offensive scripture.
Yes, that was actually in my CBC app today. To do with that,
Yeah,
my
and
CBC.
of course, I forget the dude's name, but he just started with the whole Christian persecution thing.
Oh, for fuck's sakes!
Yeah.
Christians are not fucking persecuted in Canada, you dumbass. Ugh, I hate that. It's like we're so nobody gives a fuck what you do on your Sundays here. Like nobody. Like it doesn't matter if well, they might raise an eyebrow if I went to a baby barbecue, but
Yeah.
they don't give a fuck to say that fucking Christians are persecuted. Like, I'm sorry, if I bet you anything, if I went into a Christian school and I said, I've got a present for you, I've made this beautiful plaque with an illustrated Ezekiel 23:20 for you, I bet your bippy they would not hang that in the school.
No. Well, no, I think the scripture that was taken down was, I forget the verse, but it was about how none shall inherit the kingdom of God, not adulterers, not thieves, not fools, something like that.
Right.
Don't know if you guys know the scripture.
It sounds vaguely familiar. I don't know what number it is or what, but do you know what Ezekiel 23:20 is, Ranger?
Let me be very clear.
I know these two do.
Yeah.
It's been months since I picked up the Bible, so you may have to refresh my memory. I've been kind of doing that lately.
Say, if I brought them an illustrated plaque, there's no way that, because the verse goes like this: and she lusted after her lovers, whose members were like that of donkeys, and whose emissions were like that of horses.
Oh, bestiality. Yeah, that's right.
I guarantee you they wouldn't hang it. Even if I didn't give them an illustrated plaque, even if it was just the fucking text, they would be like, I can't hang that in my school. I'm like, oh, well, you could hang that, you're going to send all of us fuckers to hell, but, you can't talk about fucking donkeys because it's in the same damn book, you turds.
But I bet you could get away with it if you just put the chapter, the book, the chapter, and the verse, and didn't put the actual quote there. They'd be, oh, we love this, thank you. And then the kids in church would be on their smartphones and what?
Now I'm always finding new people to poke fun at. In fact, recently I've been watching these two douchebags. I only say two douchebags because their names are somewhat similar. One YouTuber by the name of Deflating Atheism, and the other is Escaping Atheism. And they like to suck each other off pretty much. Metaphorically, of course. But Escaping Atheism's, I guess, real name is Dean Esme. And I kid you not, this motherfucker during a live stream said, and I quote, most historians will admit that the Dark Ages never even happened. Excuse me? The fuck you talking about, son?
What?
Yeah, he said that word for word. I'm like, okay, every history textbook I've ever picked up has had at least one section about the Dark Ages. Even most Catholics admit it.
Don't you know they're all lying? They're just making it up, because after Satan planted all the fossils, they had to have something to do.
Yeah. Of course.
Holy fucking hell. Wow. And
apparently Deflating Atheism, last video I saw of his, he was going after Richard Dawkins. Apparently, according to this guy, since Richard Dawkins hasn't wrote a scientific paper, I think in like 20 years, according to this guy, he's no longer a leader on science because of that.
No, he just writes whole fucking books about it instead of a paper.
No, I believe I said that doing a response video to him. I'm like, that's just fucking stupid. That's like saying that, well, Mike Tyson no longer gets in the ring, so he's no longer a boxing legend.
Yeah.
And then they'll turn around and bitch that science changes and the Bible doesn't. Make up your fucking minds.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, this is our main channel, and we only do the show on this channel. I've thought about doing stuff on my personal channel, and I don't know how I could not be just, explode into a tirade of profanity with some of these people. Just
I try not to. I try to cuss as little as I can during my videos because I want to be somewhat professional.
right.
But my channel is also a personal channel, so.
Yeah. No, that's perfectly understandable. For this, we're just like, no, fuck that. It's explicit, and, we don't want to. But we also don't monetize, so, yeah. Because if we couldn't monetize, because actually, I don't know if you even could anymore. Did you? I don't really watch TJ anymore, but there was one he did where he was talking about this whole new being
Advertiser friendly.
Advertiser friendly, and how, because I think he's rebranded. He used to be the Amazing Atheist. I think he may have rebranded the channel by now, but he was talking about how he had been planning to rebrand the channel, and he changed the name. Now, he was fully monetized. He changed the name, and I don't remember to what, but it no longer had the title. And then he decided, I'm not sure I'm ready to do that yet. So he changed it back to Amazing Atheist to what it was. And suddenly he wasn't able to monetize any longer.
Yeah, he did change his channel name to his actual name, which is TJ Kirk.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't monetize my videos either, but I don't want to take that chance because there's been a few times where I've wanted to change my channel name to the Skeptic Ranger.
Right.
But again, I didn't want to take that chance of me, maybe not liking it and then having to go back and just, not being able to do it.
You can always create a separate channel with that name and decide later if you want to keep both.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing another account anyway because I'm thinking about making my Hangouts public again. And I want to create another account in case I get sniped.
And for those who may not know, do you want to tell them what sniping is?
Yeah, pretty much if someone comes in to the Hangout and they leave on I believe the external chat, they can go under, I believe it's people, and they can just exit out people.
So they can kick you out of your own Hangout to where you can't get back in.
Yeah, I mean, it's your show, but I could definitely possibly screen share and to show the audience and maybe, Bridget.
I don't know if I want to get into that kind of detail. I don't want to give people ideas.
But you go into people, it shows everyone in the Hangout, and everyone in the Hangout, they have an X by their names. That's how they do it. Yeah, it's a design flaw.
Yeah. Although I've noticed if somebody's using a corporate account, and those are the ones, because our accounts are just the free accounts, and we can get 10 people in here maximum. But a corporate account, I think I don't know if it's unlimited, but you can get a shit ton more than 10 people in there. And I've not noticed. I noticed the last time I was in a Hangout that was done on one of the corporate accounts. Normally you can go back to your Hangout page and look at your past Hangouts. So even though this is a live show, you'd be able to go back and see this Hangout later, and that's where you would go and X people out if it was still going on. But those corporate Hangouts didn't show up in my Hangout list, I noticed. So there's something, maybe you're not able to snipe from a corporate Hangout, which would make sense.
Yeah.
Because the aim of those is to be like a corporate conference call, I would imagine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't want to get sniped either. That's kind of rude. But there are a lot of dickwads out there that would do that.
Yeah.
as you've encountered.
Yeah.
Was that something, Tucker?
Oh no, it's just that there's been a rash of people who are, getting their accounts closed on Facebook and things like that because they there's a coordinated effort against them.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Atheist Republic went down twice in 1 week, and I was talking to Armin the week after when we had the conference here, and he was like, yeah, they just target us whenever they fucking feel like it because they think we're anti-Muslim or something, even though Atheist Republic is, for all stripes of atheists, apparently they're anti-Muslim because Armin's an ex-Muslim. Like, I don't fucking...
Yeah, I'm actually that's enough. I mean, we haven't done the show in a while, but that's another, I guess Casper calls it a podcast, but yeah, that's another podcast I'm a co-host of, is the Devils in God's Country on the Atheist Republic YouTube channel.
Yes, that's right.
Of course, we haven't done a show in like 6 months. The last show we did was with David Silverman, which, by the way, I do have that hangout mirrored on my channel if anyone wants to see it.
Oh yeah, we like Dave. Dave came on here last year too, so he's a good, lot of fun to interview.
Yeah,
for sure. And he's so personable. Like, he just come in and like hang out with you because you're there.
Yeah, I absolutely love the time that he's been on Fox News. That was awesome.
Oh. But
yeah. Tide goes in, tide goes out. You can't explain that.
Actually, yes, you can.
Fucking idiots. The fucking moon. I find it ironic though. Like, he's out of a job now too, O'Reilly.
Yeah.
So I find that to be rather ironic because he's out of a job, and who else got turfed lately?
Roger Ailes got turfed before him. Of course, Roger Ailes is now dead. I
think Sean Hannity got accused as well.
Hannity, yes. Hannity is going down the toilet. Trying to think. I thought there was another like big conservative pundit that got the...
I guess NBC is in panic mode over Megyn Kelly's interview with Alex Jones.
Ugh.
What? I knew she did it, but I mean, that guy makes me stir crazy just seeing his face, so I wasn't going to watch more time with him. But what was the spiel on that? What was everybody...
Well, because, he pushes the idea that Sandy Hook was a false flag operation.
Right.
And there's a lot of people really upset about that. I mean, they just put a woman in jail for harassing the parents of the kids that were killed.
Yes, that's disgusting.
When did this happen?
Like last week or so.
Yeah, I saw headlines for that.
Well, what was it, a false flagger that was harassing?
Yeah. He'd been harassing, I think it was either both parents or the father of one of the victims for quite some time, and like stalking them and just, harassing phone calls and all kinds of shit.
What were they saying?
Probably accusing them of faking it and stuff like that. I don't really know. Did it
I think in one of them she was saying, you better fess up or bad things will happen to you.
Lovely.
The only thing worse than fucking anti-vaxxers are false flaggers.
I concur. And, it's funny, Beth was just saying the other day after the Republican baseball shooting was, gee, I don't see any Republicans claiming false flag on that one. I wonder why.
And we damn sure don't see Republicans wanting to do common sense gun laws.
But there is one thing that happened, because they were scheduled to vote that day on legalizing silencers, and they canceled the vote.
Gee, I wonder why.
and the name of the act that they canceled. It's called the Hearing Protection Act.
Yes, we did a story about that on
Oh,
yes, I do remember that. We did it actually on the show that I'm a co-host of, Packard Talks at.
yeah.
Yeah. Their claim was that they want to undo some of the regulations on silencers because of people's hearings. I'm like, come on, what the fuck? You think people are that fucking stupid?
Yes. Yes, they do. And yes, some of them are.
Yeah. And I mean, it's, you know, silencers aren't as they're portrayed in the movies, but yeah, they, you know, if they're easy to get, you can bet somebody will get the bright idea. Well, I can just shoot somebody. Nobody will know it was me because they won't hear the gun.
Well, that, and I believe silencers make it difficult for law enforcement to identify the bullet.
That
I believe, yes, that some of them do alter the ballistic evidence.
Yeah, that would not surprise me at all, depending on the design.
That's why most of them are banned in the first place, actually.
Yeah. So, and the guy that got shot up, he was a proponent of allowing mentally ill people to have guns.
Yeah. And he said something else. I forget what it was. That was just, you know, brilliant when it came to guns some years back. And I don't recall what the quote was, but there's a Georgia legislator who says, oh, this shooting means we're going to take that House seat in that special election this week.
I read about that.
I swear, do they like screen for low IQs when you join the Republican Party or something?
I think they have to.
Okay, Donald Trump became president. What do you think?
Fair enough. Shit. They do an inaptitude test before the party.
Oh, speaking of Trump, he says some more stupid shit this week.
Lovely.
According into his little head, he's more popular than Obama. Yeah. Even though he has like a 65% disapproval rating.
Yeah, well.
Oh, here's another reason to avoid Republican Party. Get this. This just popped up on my news. Says the names, addresses, and dates of birth of voter information was left exposed on a U.S. data analytics company server for 12 days last year, belonging to 198 million American voters. And I think the company was hired by the Republican National Committee to run in a run-up to the 2016 presidential election to provide insights on American voters. So this company collected the information for 198 million Americans and then left it exposed on their server for 12 days.
At least 12 days. That's what they're admitting to. And it includes information, you know, names, phone numbers, addresses, whether you're a gun owner or not. And some of the information on there is apparently stuff that's not supposed to be released by the states. So there's questions as to, well, how did you guys get this information?
Yeah. And I'm guessing when you say information that's not supposed to be released by a state, the first thing that pops into my mind is medical information.
I don't know. The article wasn't really clear on what the details were, but it was just like some of this is not supposed to be available.
Yeah. Lovely. See, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, speaking of medical bills, I recently saw Kyle Kolumsky was talking about how I think, like, at least in America, I think half of crowdfunding goes to medical bills.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. I wouldn't surprise me at all either. And I occasionally that pops up here. It tends to happen when somebody is seeking what is determined to be experimental treatment, and our national insurance won't cover anything that's deemed to be experimental, which I don't fucking understand. Like, I mean, I get that they're trying to not throw money away per se, but I don't understand why, if somebody is exhausted conventional stuff, why they would ever deny somebody a treatment that is called experimental. I mean, if the person's like, look, I'm gonna die anyway, can I at least have a chance at this? Why the fuck not?
I know in France, their health system will cover experimental treatments.
Yeah. And they're not fucking bankrupt, so...
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I probably shouldn't admit this, but I may have to do my own crowdfunding here soon, because I think a while ago I was uninsured. I had to go to the hospital, and now, even now, I'm like over $10,000 in debt.
Yeah.
Medical bills.
Insane. And
well, I mean, to be fair, I was uninsured when I went in, so that's probably why.
But that should happen.
A friend of mine, she was uninsured, and this was before Obamacare had passed. So the only place she could go to get treatment for a UTI, which Deb and Bridget can tell you, they're not real serious. I mean, they're uncomfortable, but you get a slew of antibiotics and you're fine.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you're highly unlikely to drop dead from that.
Right. She had to go to the ER to get treated for that. Her bill for the ER visit was $2,500.
Yeah.
No. Well,
and I had to stay the night. So
when Beth had her stroke, we were like, go to the fucking hospital, and we couldn't figure out why she didn't want to go. Well, now we know, because she was uninsured. And when she got there, they basically refused to treat her, and she still got nailed at $10,000 for the fucking ambulance.
Yeah.
Like, okay, when I ended up in the hospital in January, I took a fucking ambulance, and you know what? And that's the only thing that I ever got a bill for. And you know how much my ambulance ride costs? $45.
Jeez, the cheapest I've heard of in the States is like $400. And
45.
And I was talking to the guy, he works at Vanderbilt. He's an insurance coordinator, and he handles people who are uninsured as well as people who are insured. And as we were talking, the life flight helicopter for Vanderbilt went overhead. And he says, I'm going to have to be talking to whoever's, the family of whoever's in that helicopter. He goes, because even if they've got insurance, it won't pick up the full cost.
Yeah. Oh, fucking hell. Like, it boggles my mind. So, and if you think about it, okay, I don't know exactly what it costs to run an ambulance for a shift, but let's say, an ambulance picks up, I don't know, 10 or 15 patients in an evening. That's like $450-ish. I mean, it's not going to cost $450 in gas to run the thing. I can tell you that.
And the paramedics aren't being paid $450 an hour.
No, no, exactly. So, I mean, let's say they each get 150 of that for the shift, a day, or I don't know how long a shift they are or what they get paid, but let's be like super cheap and say they get $150 a shift. So that's like $300. So you still got another 150 left over for gas and maintenance per shift. And if, let's say, it runs 2 12-hour shifts a day, that's,
yeah.
And if you don't go out 10 times, well, then you're not using 10 times the gas, are you?
Yeah, and like the town I live in, I'm sure there's days where nobody, where at least one of the ambulance is sitting inside the place the entire day. There's not the population is just too low.
Yeah. Yeah, I cannot fathom why anyone would need 10,000 fucking dollars to go. Now, the hospital for Beth is 30 miles away. I think it takes her half an hour to get there. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, that would be less than 30 miles, depending on, because like here, I'm 20 miles away from Nashville, and it takes 40 minutes for me to get there. But
Okay.
we've got a shitty road system in this part of the country.
So yeah, I mean, a half an hour drive, and the ambulance costs 10,000 fucking dollars. Really? Like, do they power it with jet fuel or something? Like,
Yeah, was it the bill? Well, the only remaining bill that I have, it's a singular bill. It's because I do stay overnight at the hospital, because when I went in because I passed out in my house and I had a 105-degree fever.
oh,
Of course, believe it or not, me going there was a waste of time because they could not explain the fever, which, by the way, inevitably went down because they gave me some type of antibiotic.
so there was some kind of infection somewhere that they didn't find or didn't diagnose, and they threw drugs at it and it worked.
Yeah, pretty much. And because I stayed overnight, and yeah, that pretty much cost me, I want to say the last time I saw the bill was like $12,000.
Jesus fuck.
Yeah, so,
no, it's insane.
And like,
yeah,
are we?
I don't mean to shamelessly plug here, but I probably will start doing a crowd, like a
No, that's
thing. Yeah.
Like, Bridget and I have talked about some of this before, because Bridget has a background in the medical field and insurance and whatnot, and they charge, like, in America they charge like $1,000 fucking dollars for a bag of saline solution.
Yeah.
Like, that's why the shit is out of control. There is no reason for that. Even when my ex-husband was living here, he was an American, and he didn't have any provincial insurance. They don't cover foreigners or visitors or any of that. So he had no coverage here at all. He split his finger open and had to get, I think it was like 2 or 3 stitches in it in the ER. And so that cost, the bill for that was $450, and that was in like 2003. And it had gone up. We got there, like, our timing was shitty, because the day before it would have only cost us $150, but the price went up that day.
What's his name? I can't. He does. He's a gay man who his sister's been. She was on Strangers with Candy. He did this thing about being an elf that got real popular on NPR. I can't think of his name now. He was married somehow, I don't know, to Frenchman, and they living in France. And because he wasn't French and hadn't done the necessary paperwork to get their coverage, he ended up in the hospital, and the French were like, we have no idea. He's like, well, what's the bill, when he's getting ready to leave? And they're like, we have no clue as to how to bill you on any of this, because everybody here is covered.
Yeah. That's wow. Because, yeah, I guess they expect European travelers to either have travel coverage, or maybe their home countries still cover it. I don't know. Maybe under EU there's something worked out. I don't know.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. The EU has they've got an overlapping thing where they let people who, if you're you're German and you end up in the hospital in France or another EU company or country, it's considered a wash because Germany will cover the costs of anybody who
from that country.
right.
Okay, I got it. I figure there had to have been some sort of agreement through the EU.
Yeah.
So that to me is a smart way to do it, because people, having spent a little bit of time over there, one thing I loved about the whole EU thing was anybody from an EU country can go to any other EU country and just like get a job and live there. And I think it's fantastic. Like I worked with, I was in Romania, but I was working with people from Germany, from Switzerland, from Italy, from France, from Holland, all these, and they all spoke English, which is why they were all working at our company at the time. And so all these people, well, yeah, I got the job here. So I moved to Romania, and, later on they're like, oh, well, now I can transfer to the German office and work there if I want to, and whatever. It just seems like such a smarter way to do things.
Yeah. And there's the thing that I if I had a job that I could do from home, like somehow, and I was an EU citizen, they are giving away castles in Italy.
I know.
To people who will, go in there and live. And it's like, man, that would be the life. You're in Italy. You've got great food, great wine. You're living in a castle.
Yeah. You should look into call center work at home.
Doesn't pay very well, though.
Well, no. I don't know what it costs to maintain a castle in Italy, but
well,
that.
If their castles are anything like their cars, you need two. One to live in and one to fix.
Like, do you have neighboring castles, or how about semi-detached castle? When I can rent, well, you can probably rent out part of it too,
Yeah, I'm sure you probably could. It'd be a hell of a tourist destination.
Oh yeah. Though my dream is always to buy one of those big ass old Gothic revival churches and live in part of it and turn the rest into a fetish bar.
I have seen ones, I've seen ones that have been turned into either a bar or apartments, and they're really, really pretty. Oh
yeah. And I mean, if you get one of those big ass Catholic ones, there's lots of room for apartments. You could build make part for yourself and be quite roomy, and big old dance hall down where all the pews are. Rip out the fucking pews, because who needs those?
But you gotta leave the hanging guy being tortured, because it's a fetish bar.
Yeah, fetish bar. I might flip them upside down or something, or hang them like a kite from the ceiling or something.
Yeah, this may be prejudice to say, but I've yet to meet a goth who didn't like bondage.
I may resemble that remark. I call it more corporate goth these days, and I've got now that I don't have the energy to do like all of the makeup and everything like I used to. So, and luckily for me, I'm a ginger, so I'm fucking pale as shit all the time anyway. The only time I ever wore like the actual white makeup was if I had too many freckles, and then I'd be like, I need to like bleach those fuckers out. Where's my pancake makeup? But yeah, I think you're probably pretty accurate on that statement as far as I know. I'm sure there's the odd one out there that doesn't, but yeah.
Yeah, because they don't want to be a conformist.
Exactly.
I was actually, I think it was 2 days ago, I was in this adult store called Good Stuff, and I actually, actually own it, where you guys handcuffs at, and she showed me, and sooner or later we just started talking, because I was just joking, but I said I could really use a woman's opinion, and she just actually started chatting me up. I'm like, okay, was not expecting this.
Nice.
I had a friend who he worked in an adult store, and whenever he saw Japanese tourists coming in, he would grab a giant dildo that had a suction cup and stick it on his forehead, and he had like a 5-pack a day of menthol's voice. So when they walk in, and he'd be like, "Welcome to America."
Nice. Nice.
Sounds like a Chota boy with emphysema.
Yeah, and he was apparently while he worked there, he was really popular because at the time it was hard for Japanese people to get porn in Japan. This is in the pre-internet days,
Right.
and he would always have because the porn videos were always on tapes made by BASF, and he always had BASF stickers on there. So he'd tell the guys, "Look, you put the stickers on here, and then when customs sees them in Japan, they think they're just blank videos, or home movies that you made while you were here. They don't realize that you're bringing in porn."
Nice.
Nice.
Your friend, the porn trafficker. I love
Oh, he was more than just a porn trafficker, I'll tell you that. He was quite the character.
It sounds like it. Oh goodness. See, I don't know. Japanese is so strange because they still blur out genitalia, which I find bizarre, because the stuff that they come up with outside of that is so like off the wall and weird, and they're worried about showing genitalia. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah,
you can buy used underwear from a goddamn vending machine, and you're worrying about seeing pubes. Like
well, they even do that with some of their animated porn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For years, they've changed it recently, but for years, child porn was legal in Japan because the law for pornography said you can't show pubic hair.
Oh.
And so they had this loophole, so it was a loophole, and they got away with it for I don't know how many years, but finally they changed it and said, no, they've all got to be under, they all got to be 18 or older.
Yeah. But what is it? Like, does anybody have any idea why pubic hair is just such a no-no?
I've heard an explanation, but I don't remember it, and I'm not sure if it was valid.
That's all right. That just seems so bizarre to me. And that's why, and it was explained to me that because of the restrictions on real porn, that's what, created tentacle porn. I'm like, okay, so penises and vaginas are bad, but tentacles doing all kinds of sick shit is perfectly okay. Something wrong with this picture.
Yeah.
I had to say I've actually watched that.
Now, are we talking anime or actual live action stuff?
No, the anime porn.
Yeah, I have seen a very short clip of actual, with a real octopus, and I'm just like, what?
That's bestiality at that point.
Yeah, and I'm just, apparently there are places you can go and experience that. And I'm just...
Yeah.
No, thank you. Leave the creatures in the ocean, please. I did see years, because my ex-husband was really into anime, and there was a tentacle, I think it was a manga thing to do with tentacles, blue something or other, and they did a live action version of it with like a simulated giant octopus thing, and I was just really wow. See, now Beth should be here because she'd be like 6 shades of red talking about tentacles. I have to tell the girls, I'm like, see what happens when you guys don't show up. We end up talking about tentacle porn. Oh, fuck. Man, hey, Tucker, where's your new baby?
I have to keep her away from Fuzznuts because he does not like other cats, and she is so.
Oh.
I mean, she fits in the palm of my hand. She's that small, and so I've got to keep him away from her because he'll kill her. That's
Yeah. He's very possessive of you.
yeah. I'm surprised he's not yowling at. Like, keep her in my bedroom. I'm surprised he's not yelling at the door like he has been.
He wants to get in and find out what that smell is that he's smelling.
Well, he's seen her and he's hissed at her, and so,
yeah.
But he does not like any other cats. I mean, there was a female in Heat who poked her head in the door one time, and he didn't like that.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's quite the cat. He's adorable though. I've never seen a more affectionate cat like ever.
Yeah, he's pretty affectionate.
It must be pretty damn hot because normally he's all over you. And
well, he's been kind of standoffish since I got the kitten, so he's mad.
Oh, jealous.
Yeah.
You. That's like our 14-year-old now. When I brought my 12-year-old kitten when she was a baby home, because that Beatrix is orange, so the orange one had been the baby for like three years out of her life at that point, and then I bring home this little black fuzzball, and Beatrix used to, I would pick her up and she would snuggle all the time. And when I brought the kitten home, I picked her up like I normally would, and she smacked me across the face. And she did not speak to me for a good 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah. Now she would have been like 4 at the time, so she's 14 now, and she's quite affectionate and whatnot, but she was mad. It's like, how dare you bring that little fucking thing home, you bastard,
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't want another cat, but I work in an industrial area, and this little kitten was wandering around on the road, and she was either going to be mowed down or starved to death because she was too young to take care of herself.
Aww.
So I brought her home.
You and Beth both. She's got a little fuzzball that her employer / best friend, I'm not sure what kind of area they live in, but this kitten showed up on their property, and it wasn't even weaned yet. And they have big dogs, and Beth's friends like, I'm afraid our dog's gonna eat it. And the mother had abandoned it. They eventually found the mother, and I think 3 or 4 other kittens later, but she had just abandoned this one. So Beth had this one for I think 3 weeks now, and she had to bottle feed it for the first week. It was so young.
Yeah, that's really hard to do.
Yeah.
I've tried to bottle feed kittens before, and it didn't work. This one's eyes were still blue. She was barely weaned when.
Yeah. Wow, she's adorable though, little cutie pie. Yeah. I said if I lived closer, man, I would have. I don't think you can ship kittens to Canada though.
There's a way to do it, but I don't know how you do it, and it's not something I'd want to subject the animal to, really.
Yeah, especially not this time of year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh wow, she's cutie though, and
yeah,
she's got a good place for the time being anyway.
Yeah.
Now, I guess Beth must have either have no internet or she fell asleep. Because
I mean, if I may say, if Bridget and Doka have any questions for me, I'm more than happy to answer them.
Absolutely. Chirp, chirp.
Sure. Well, I came into the conversation late, so.
Oh, no problem.
But well, we talked a bit about let's see. Ranger wasn't really religious. He was kind of a deist for a while and figured out that was bullshit. And that's, yeah. It was
Yeah, I
YouTube.
was an anti-theist long before I was an atheist.
Yeah, I was sort of like that myself. And in fact, it wasn't until I started hanging around with pagans and atheists that I began. Well, wait a minute. What if I'm wrong here about being an atheist? And I actually started having nightmares about going to hell.
Oh no!
And well, this was when I was in college and I was living on campus, so naturally I went to the campus library and got all the academic publications I could find on the subject of hell, because that's, it's like, if I can disprove hell, then the rest doesn't matter. And it didn't take very long for me to find out, yeah, no, that whole thing's bullshit too. And here's, like, Lilith is actually the Hebrew word for screech owl.
Yeah.
And it's supposedly, the worst demon in the Old Testament. It's like, wow, okay, so this just makes all kinds of sense. Bunch of guys out in the tent hearing a strange noise, and sooner or later somebody says, well, that's a demon, and then it just goes from there.
Wow. Speaking of Hebrew stuff, here's a stupid ass post I came across today that I replied to. So this person says, the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet perfectly correspond to the 22 amino acids, the building blocks of life within our DNA. The Torah teaches us that speech was the tool of creation. Since the 22 amino acids in our DNA correspond to the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet, we can say with surety that the Hebrew language is the DNA of creation.
All righty.
No, there's
my response was, hey, eggs come in dozens and Jesus had 12 disciples. So I guess that means that the disciples laid eggs and created chickens.
Nice.
Oh, and I just found this. Ken Ham's group is promoting a book about Noah, which on the cover has Noah in like a gladiator coliseum going up against a T-Rex.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh yeah, and by the way, he blames us atheists for Noah's
yes, the ark adventure failed because of us atheists.
Yeah. I still say we need a GoFundMe so we can buy that thing when it gets, seized for tax liabilities, and then turn it into the atheist version of Burning Man. Only we don't torch the ark. We just have this big bonfire in front of it and a lot of naked dancing.
I'm down.
That would be fun.
I've been going after creationists, especially young Earth creationists recently, and they keep talking about how, oh, well, DNA is a code. I'm like, that's just a fucking analogy, you moron. It's not a little fucking computer code.
Or there's
a fucking biology book.
There wasn't some, God didn't sit there going, okay, I'm going to encrypt this, in a little
EFG. You didn't do that.
No. I'm going to encrypt all of this and call it DNA. No.
Yeah.
Well, when I was in one of Steve's hangouts last weekend, we ran into the Zulu guy. Did you run?
Sorry.
You know him?
Yeah, sadly, I do.
I'm not familiar with the Zulu guy.
Well, I didn't think he was that young. They told me he's 16 or something. He's this young. He's a Seventh-day Adventist who is also a creationist. And yeah, he was just saying some of the most ridiculous stuff. It was just oh. And I'd never encountered the kid before, so I'm just sitting there going, "What did he just say?" And everybody else is like, "Oh, it's just Zulu."
Yeah, I saw a bit of that hangout. He tried to do the whole persecution thing as well, and I remember you laughing.
Yes, because I forget what he said something that was pretty moronic, and most of the people in the hangout started laughing, and he's like, "Yeah, you're all laughing at me. That's a persecution." And we're just like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Yeah, that's persecution. Not being locked up for your beliefs, or being thrown off roofs, or being beheaded in public. That's not persecution.
I'm like, you go to fucking Saudi Arabia and you stand in the square in Riyadh and you tell them about Jesus and that the Sabbath is on Saturday and all that shit and see how far you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
You'll be beheaded that afternoon.
Yeah.
If you're lucky. If you're not lucky, they'll throw you in prison, give you a bunch of lashes, and then behead you.
Yes. Yeah. Or you'll just croak from infection because of the lashes before they get to beheading you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, by the way, my disciple comment, the OP came back with, "And you're a pretty pussy cat."
Nice comeback, jackass.
Yeah, I posted that right before we went live, so I have to think of, I don't know if I'm just going to be like, "You're fucking stupid," or I'll come up with something else, but like, damn. I'm not sure if he's calling me a pussy or he's just being like, "That's a pretty pussy cat," pat me on the head. I don't quite get it.
Ain't no telling.
No. Maybe I should just send him the bouquet of kittens picture. Oh, fuck. Well, Beth is awake now, apparently. I'm not sure if she's popping in yet or not. We have a little bit of time left. A little bit, because we started late, so got about 15 minutes. Unless you need to go, which is perfectly fine.
I can't stay too much longer because I do have to get to bed. And because that's only because I work at I have to get up at 7 a.m. for work.
Okay. No, that's fair.
Yeah,
That's
so I can stay, just not too much longer.
That's fair. That's fair. So you got any projects going on that you're working on, or are you just having fun?
I am hoping to make a few more videos, and I don't know if we have any boxing fans in here, but I am hoping to interview technically I've not an interview. I've talked to him before on my channel about maybe 6 months ago by a boxing trainer by the name of Joe Mosley. He runs a YouTube channel by the name of Mosley Boxing, all one word.
The name sounds vaguely familiar, and I know absolutely nothing about boxing. Excuse me. So he must be.
He's a distant cousin from Shane Mosley, who is a very well-known professional boxer.
That means absolutely nothing to me, but I'll take your word for it.
No, I wasn't sure if Bridget and Tucker were boxing fans, so I just thought I'd throw that out there.
No, I'm not a sports ball kind of guy at all.
There's no ball in boxing. Well, there are, but they're not.
No, it's called the bell.
I'm hoping there's some balls in boxing. Otherwise, it won't be very entertaining.
And I'm also going to go after this one particular dude, YouTuber by the name of Leviticus. In fact, I already made a video about him, but there's a few more I'm hoping to make about him. And also, I may make a video response to G-Man because he recently made a video response to Bionic Danger, which is just so stupid. This is also a man who views disagreement as persecution.
Yes. I don't know, Tucker and Bridget, have you heard of G-Man before?
I have.
You have. Oh, Tucker.
Oh, Tucker, you're lucky.
Yeah, wow. The guy is just beyond infuriating.
No. This is a man who went on the second most popular podcast, The Drunken Peasants, and denied the existence of starving children.
What?
Yeah.
Wow, that I hadn't heard before.
Yep.
I bet you TJ had fun with that. Fuck.
Oh no, yeah, they kicked him off as soon as he said that. He's like, you're a retard. He's like, if you can't acknowledge that there's starving children in the world, the word wouldn't that the discussion is going nowhere.
Yeah. I mean,
Wow.
does he actually think this stuff, or is he just trying to be as obnoxious as he possibly can?
Yeah,
Yes.
Well, he tried to double down on it too, because I think like a week later he said, "Well, I meant starving Christian children." I'm like that's much
What?
better.
Oh,
Yeah. No.
I'm like, yeah, because that's so much better.
yeah. Oh, there's the fuzz nuts. Hi, buddy. Yeah, G-Man is just, yeah.
You ever seen a canine become a non-canine?
Yeah. He fancies himself a smarty pants against evolution too.
Yeah. No, he last I saw his view on evolution, he pretty much views it as like Pokemon evolution.
Yeah.
That's how he does his learning.
Yeah. Let me watch Pokemon to see how evolution works.
Because we know Darwin was all into that shit.
Oh yeah. Well, actually, there's a funny video. I don't know if we have big music fans in here, but there's a kind of a channel called the Epic Rap Battles of History, and believe it or not, there is a rap battle between Ash Ketchum and Charles Darwin.
I've heard of the channel. I haven't seen that video on it.
Oh, it is hilarious.
Wow. Oh yeah, here Tucker gave us a link. It's the book is called Noah, Man of Resolve.
Yeah.
Yeah. The cover art's actually pretty cool.
Wow. It says a new book about Noah's travails that are not recorded in the Bible. So what's their fucking source then?
Same as the Bibles. They pulled it out of their ass.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking hell. Here, let me
And how does he know he wasn't there?
Yeah. Were you there? Here, here's a screen share of the cover there. So the gladiator is gonna fight the T-Rex in the fucking Coliseum.
Yeah. Now I'd pay money to see that for sure, but that never happened.
Exactly. And I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure a man wouldn't last 30 seconds with a Tyrannosaurus Rex anyway.
No.
No. 6 to 8 inch long teeth, can run at like 20 to 30 miles an hour. And the short little stubby arms could easily bench press over 300 pounds.
Uh-huh.
No.
And now looking at this, is that T-Rex not awfully fucking small in that picture?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
they've
the
got
T-Rex was about like 3 stories high, wasn't it?
Well, the head is 6 feet long, so
yeah.
and assuming, I mean, not that they would understand it, but if you're going to assume that Noah was a tall man at 6 feet, either that T-Rex is really far away, or
Yeah, because I mean, its stance is leaning forward, but you can tell just by the angle that it would hardly have to bend down to get through that man-shaped, man-sized tunnel entrance.
Yeah. I
That's
mean, the only weakness I think that the T-Rex had was that it had very bad eyesight.
yes.
yeah.
Oh, look, there's a picture of the Ark encounter with a rainbow in the background.
Oh, it's not special.
Yes.
So was that that must be for Pride Month, right?
No,
Yeah.
they're taking it back.
Oh yeah, but that's like an actual rainbow though. So it's like, yeah, God's telling you buggers to gay it up in there. Like, get your pride on, you dumbasses. It'd be so funny. You go in there and they've got their fake animals in the fake cages, and you'd be like, "No, Mr. Ham, I'm pretty sure that's 2 dudes in there." You want to check that out.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's not. But fuck, that whole thing is a joke. I kind of want to go there, but I don't want to give them any money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I really, really wish I could have gone to the opening protest where they gave all the atheists the free admission, because then I would have totally gone and like filmed all the stupid shit and stuff. But yeah, yeah. I just can't see spending, like, giving them my money is a hard issue.
Yeah, yeah, that's one of the issues I have with some of the stuff that people do. They're like, "Oh, well, we're going to donate, what we spent to this other thing," and it's like, "Yeah, but you're still giving those idiots money, so unless you're donating directly to an organization that is working to bring these people down, then it's not a wash. It's still, the idiots are still able to function."
I wonder what would happen if you went and you paid, and then at the end of seeing everything, you went back to the front and it was like, "Look, I'm totally unconvinced by this. I don't believe it. I want a refund." I doubt it would work, but
Yeah.
yeah.
No, that reminds me of a funny story. I'm sure we all remember the terrible, terrible movie Passion of the Christ. I went with a buddy from, I think it was in middle school, and I kid you not, he got so pissed off about how bad it was. He actually went to the person who was selling the ticket and asked for a refund. He was that pissed. And of course, they didn't give him one.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Yeah, the movie teller gave him a funny look. She's like, "Sir, I can't give you a refund once you sat through the whole movie." I even told him that the entire time. I'm like, "Dude, they're not going to give you your money back. Let's just go."
I could make an argument for the Ark though, because I could make the argument that, well, how am I supposed to give it a chance to convince me until I've seen all of the information?
Yeah.
Like that, I could make a case for. The movie, if you're sitting there after half an hour and you're like, "This fucking sucks," then it's probably not going to get any better.
There's somebody posted a video on YouTube of how the sanitation would have worked on the Ark, and I showed that to somebody who was an engineer, and after they stopped laughing, they explained all the reasons why not only was it impossible for something like that to work effectively, had you actually built a boat and put that on it, the boat would have promptly sunk.
So you're talking the video that they have on the Ark Encounter, right?
Yeah.
I did see Tracy Moody, who works with Hemet Meta. She went there and did a lot of video, and I think it was her that posted the video of this, and I thought the same thing, because it's like this big fucking tunnel up through the bottom of the ship, and it's almost like, so it's like a giant hole in the middle of the ship, right? And then these like water powered, almost like a water wheel, but it's to like move shit from like the bottom of the ship and up and toss it over the edge or something like that. And I mean, I don't know shit about engineering, but I took one look at that and went, "No fucking way."
Yeah, no, because the engineer, he was like, you've got this guy, he's got a wheelbarrow and he's taking the shit and he's dumping it down here and then it's going on this conveyor and then it's going. Why doesn't the guy with the wheelbarrow just dump the shit over the side?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, fuck. Oh, maybe someday somebody will, excuse me, maybe they'll have like, you know what would get some people to go there if they had like free atheist day. So people would show up and like, take videos and shit. I don't know that it would help their cause any, but it would get people there.
Yeah. Yeah, and the atheists would actually go to the places in town that sold alcohol and buy it.
Exactly. That's what they should do. The park is never going to get money. Just be like, if you're Christian, you have to come and give us your money. And that's how they try and get some costs. But you have like atheists get in free and then they'll go and patronize the people in the town. There you go.
Hey, I bet David Smalley could make that deal happen. Or not David Smalley, Silverberg. David Silverberg. Yeah.
We should suggest that,
Oh, speaking of Ken Ham, do you guys remember this old TV show called the Creation Team?
No.
You guys remember that at all? Oh my god! I think I don't know if any of you are subscribed to the Bible Reloaded channel, but they did. What?
Yes, I am.
Okay, yeah, I think maybe last year they did a kind of a video reaction to it, and one of the things they said was that supposedly that the T-Rex was a vegetarian.
Yeah, there's Ken Ham has a children's book that the illustrations feature Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden and velociraptors plucking fruit and giving it to Adam and Eve.
Yes.
And now that they did this pathetic little charade about, I guess, in the show there was a talking dinosaur, and I guess they did this little skit that was a reference to the X-Files. It was called the Extinct Files, and the talking dinosaur said something along the lines of, "Well, there's no clear-cut answer by science as to what happened to the dinosaurs, but yet science is somehow positive when they died." I'm like, wait a minute. Even if that was true, which it's not, but even if that was true, how would not knowing how they died bear any resemblance on when they lived?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well. Alrighty, folks. Well, we better let Ranger get some sleep here. So thank you for popping in and hanging out with us. Appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. I'm happy to come on anytime.
You want to go ahead and plug all your shows there? Go on ahead.
I guess I'll just plug myself first. My name is the Atheist Ranger, aka Tony. I do have a YouTube channel by the name of Atheist Ranger. I'm also the co-host of 2 podcasts. One we haven't done, as I said earlier, one we haven't done in a very long time, but hopefully it'll start up soon. The show is called The Devil in God's Country. It is on the Atheist Republic YouTube channel. And I'm also a co-host of Packard Pokesat with my good friend Packard Sonic. Check those guys out. And I recently passed 200 subs, and hopefully with this little hangout, who knows, I may get more. If not, then oh well.
Awesome. Well, thanks again. We appreciate it. It was fun.
No problem.
Excellent. So, guys, since you were so kind to come and sub in for me, Bridget, you go ahead and plug your blog because I know you have that.
Yes, it's called Between the Wheels, and it's at bridgetfitch2112.wordpress.com.
And
we can plug Holy Crap the Vlogcast.
I was going to say you can do my other plugging for me this week.
Holy Crap the Vlogcast. It is on Saturday nights / Sunday mornings at 11:05 p.m. Central or 12:05 a.m. Eastern.
Yes. And we're a panel of somewhat sane people from all over the globe.
Yeah.
Yeah. You missed it. He got Andrew Torres to come back this week.
Oh, nice.
He just was like, hey, there's hardly anybody. Same thing as today, kind of. He's like, hey, Andrew's online. I'll ask him if he wants to pop in. And he's like, oh. So kind of cool. So that's okay, though. Well, thank you for popping in and hanging out. I great appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having me. Yeah, sorry about Saturday. I kind of overslept.
That's okay. Beth apparently had the same problem today. So it's apparently contagious.
Yeah, I took a nap and woke up 10 hours later, and I was like, whoa.
You needed the rest. What can I say?
I did.
And Tucker, please plug your show.
It's the Atheist in the Trailer Park podcast. No relation to yours.
Yeah. Distant cousins of
Yeah, well, you're the high class ones because you're no longer in the trailer park. And me and Fuzznuts and occasionally America Curl do a show. When it's not America, it's just me and Fuzznuts, and if I'm lucky, a guest where we tackle. Right now, we're tackling the biblical apocrypha and trying to make sense of that.
And that's a hell of a lot of fun, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Did you know that wisdom is a dominatrix, people?
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we found that out.
Yeah. and Jesus was a spitter, but that's another story.
And don't forget Random Road Dog.
Yeah.
Oh, that shit's messed up. I can kind of see why they left it out, but still, it's entertaining.
Yeah, well, but not everybody left it out. I mean, some of those are still in the Catholic Bible. Some of them are in the Greek Orthodox. Some of them are in the Russian Orthodox, and all of them are in the Ethiopian.
That's true. I should look it up because I recently found a creepy looking Catholic Bible at the secondhand store not too long ago. I should see.
Is there any other kind of Catholic Bible?
It looks creepy though. Like here. Like, look at this thing.
Oh, yeah. That's got the Exorcist or the Omen movie written all over it.
Yeah, like the creepy ass fucking Bible. And for those of you, it's like this, it's from 1962. 1962. So it's like that old ass plastic cover. It's just like plain black with this skinny blood red cross on it.
Yeah.
It's creepy as fuck. So, and it's got like pictures and shit in it. And what I found funny, it's got an inscription in the front. And it said to Mr. and Mrs. Harry Lemieux, souvenir of Cana Conference, February 26, 1962, from CFM Preston. And I found out Cana Conference is this Catholic retreat for married couples to go and like talk about how to avoid letting their children become secular. So I found that to be highly amusing. But and of course it has one of those ribbon bookmarks in it, and do you want to guess where I have it marked at?
Ezekiel 23:20.
Oh, knew it. In fact, I actually read the whole chapter not too long ago, and it's pretty lurid. But yeah. Oh, anyway, we should wrap this up. So, as Bridget said, you can find me at Holy Crap on Sunday mornings at 12:05 a.m. Eastern. And we will be here, of course, next week at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. And we will be talking to, and if I hope I pronounce this right, Gleb Typersky, who has been championing truth in news and just in information of late, and talking about what a lot of people are calling the post truth era, or the the age of alternative facts, and what we can do to counter the ridiculousness of people reporting just things that are outright lies, and how to tell what's real and what isn't, and all of that stuff. So, and he actually was targeted on Facebook not too long ago and had his account disabled for quite a while. That was 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I just noticed yesterday that he's back on. So
Yeah,
I'm glad.
He was banned for 2 weeks with no explanation.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just nuked for 2 weeks. Like, that's the kind of shit that's going on with that, too. I'm sure he'll have lots to say about that as well. So he'll be joining us next week. It'll be a lot of fun. And before we go, too, as we always like to do, just talk briefly about the Whitefields Educational Foundation and the Taylor Scholarship. And the Whitefields Educational Foundation provides counseling for people who are leaving or have left religion, and they feel like they need someone to talk about that with. And the Taylor Scholarship provides funding for people who want the counseling, but unfortunately are unable to afford it. They are based out of Utah, so they do help a lot of ex-Mormons, but they're certainly open to any type of religion if you're trying to get out. So yeah, if you feel like donating, the scholarship was started by David Michael, former host of My Book of Mormon podcast. So the URL is whitefieldseducational.org/My Book of Mormon podcast, if you feel like sending them some money. And we also have a Patreon. We use that to pay for our Spreaker hosting. So if you feel like throwing us a couple of bucks at some point, we would greatly appreciate that too, because every little bit helps. So until then, next week, we will see everybody then, and I will leave us with Dave Froda's Human Creed for All of Mankind. We'll see you soon.
I know the truth and power of reason and of rational thinking, and I will use them to my advantage. I know the truth and power of educating myself and of expanding my intellectual boundaries, and I will educate myself. I know the truth and power of vanquishing ignorance, and I will do so whenever the opportunity presents itself. I know the truth and power of morality without supervision, and of true and accurate righteousness. I know the truth and power of obliterating tyranny, be it intellectual, emotional, or philosophical, and will work toward that goal whenever and however possible. I know the truth and power of human ingenuity. I know the truth and power of human compassion, and I will be mindful of the welfare of others. I know the truth and power of equality and fairness for all living things. I know the truth and power of the importance of our families, our friends, and our fellow men and women. I know the truth and power of human stewardship of our lands, our waters, and our skies, and I will try to act to preserve our environment. I know the truth and power of the sciences of mathematics, of physics, and of chemistry, and of the important role of these disciplines in understanding the workings of this cosmos. I know the truth and power of the rejection of all notions or beliefs that reside in the supernatural or the superstitious, and of those notions or beliefs that we are not supposed to be able to explain. And I know that these rejections are necessary for humankind's survival. I am a human being with a free mind, liberated from irrational influence and from unreasonable dogma.